When I was married in 1981, the most common type of wedding gown preservation was to vacuum pack it in a box. This was to protect the wedding gown from oxygen, which was the supposed enemy of the wedding gown. It was an expensive process for us, and my husband and I were starving students on a shoestring budget. So my wedding dress hung in my closet without even a plastic cover for it. Being a skilled seamstress, I had sewn my own wedding gown, so I did not have the garment bag that bridal shops provide you with the purchase of a gown. Every time I saw my dress hanging in the closet, I felt a twinge of guilt. I believed I was putting my gown at risk, not having it vacuum packed. And yet over time, I forgot about my dress, and it remained in its spot in the closet. We moved several times, and the dress went with all the other clothes during each move. In 1994, I was approached by a friend who asked that I assist her with a new wedding gown preservation. She told me about this new method of bridal gown preservation designed by textile preservation experts. She explained to me that the vacuum packing that had been the rage in the 80s was the worst thing that could be done to a wedding gown. When the gown's vacuum packed, all the oxygen is sucked out of the box and it left the gown shriveled up. Later, when the box is opened, the gown was a mess. Each place the gown had been creased was now permanently creased. Sometimes the dress came out in shreds. So when I took my wedding dress out of its spot in the closet to preserve it, I found it looked pretty good. It hadn't yellowed. I discovered the oxygen hadn't ruined it after all. It was a little dusty, and it did have some oxidation spots because I had never had it cleaned. The veil looked a little shabby because it had been hanging unprotected with the dress. I then cleaned my wedding gown and preserved it with museum method bridal gown preservation. This method is different. It allows you to easily inspect your bridal gown anytime you like. My wedding dress looks fabulous today. I know because I can easily check it, and I often do. It's protected from dust and light by a 100% cotton wedding gown preservation bag. In fact, we're going to look at it right now. This dress has been preserved for about 14 years with museum method, and you can see the color is quite good. It's still a nice off-white color, quite clear. Its style is typical 70s because I was married before Princess Di. She changed the whole dynamics of wedding gowns to the big poofy sleeves. So this is more of a 70s style. As it turned out, oxygen was not the enemy that everyone supposed it was. But since the 1980s, wedding gown preservation has improved tremendously. Vacuum packing is no longer commonly done. There are now several options available for bridal gown preservation. However, there are quite a few variations, and all claim to be the best. It can be very confusing, so I hope you'll continue reading our preservation guide or watch the videos so you can learn how to keep your gown in the best condition possible.